Yeah, okay, bring those back. And then there might be the ones, it might be in my box or something.
Mojave.
Okay.
Just so you know,
Yes.
this is the speaking sweet spot. You'll get this, you'll get yourself, but if you're standing on the other side, the camera won't get you.
Oh, I see.
And this is all being recorded, it's all gonna go up on YouTube,
Okay.
okay?
What year is this one?
Now, a lot of times you've gotta put a USB plug in there.
Oh, I do?
Just everything going on here. Yep, here it is.
I did, you know what?
Oh, I already have it. Everything plugged in there.
It was out of the hotel, they had like a little artificial breakfast, so I totally grabbed it, it's really yummy. Oh, it was so good.
And that's my favorite. Okay, have a seat.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay. I'll just do it the way I did before manually.
Just gotta pull out one and try that one. Just try that.
Yeah.
So you see your
If it doesn't, no problem.
For what? I'm based out of Temecula.
Oh, so you're. I don't know what turn on.
Temecula? South, it's near San Diego.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it.
that's where I am, but we're in Asia here, so.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start this next session up here. We've got Ken Letourneau, tax guru. And I'll tell you, there's something about Ken and what he's doing that gets me excited, and that is this tax thing, tax liens and tax deeds, is another way to get a hold of properties for vacant land, which I do. Gets me really excited. And that vacant, it could be even properties on acreage. So he's going to tell you all about it. Thank you very much, Ken.
Has anybody ever done tax lien or tax deed investing at all? Yes? Okay. Are we doing it actively right now? Okay, where are you doing it right now? Let's see.
Arizona primarily.
Arizona? Okay. And yourself? Arizona, mainly? Okay. So you know Arizona's coming up in the month of February. All right. So we do a lot in Arizona. We bought 800 liens in Arizona. Okay.
That's all?
That's it. Okay, everybody. And then my students, she's going to be here. I think Art's probably manning the ship. Okay. None of them are there, huh? No. Okay. That's
It was
fine.
on the left corner of
Was
the
it?
table.
Okay. All right. No problem. Anyways, I always start a little story before I go into the presentation. If you haven't seen me before, I do tax lien and I do tax deed investing business. Okay. It's my full-time job. That's all I do. Okay. 95% of my money that I make is on properties. This is the education part. So when you see other people, some people are educators. They're not actively doing the business. I'm actively doing the business, okay? We're foreclosing on, if you have the list there, we're foreclosing on 100 properties this year, right? And right now we have seven on the market, 5 are in escrow right now, all in Arizona. And we're going to show you some of them too, okay? And we're going to talk about this, but the story I want to tell you very quickly is about this gentleman who lived on a street and would walk by a house every day. And every day he walked by, he would see this dog, and he'd be sitting, and he'd be moaning and groaning every day. Every single day he would walk by, and you could hear the dog say, "Oh," right? "Oh." Every day he'd walk by, and he says, "What's going on here?" He's moaning and groaning. So one day he actually went up to the owner, and he says, "I hear your dog moaning and groaning every day." He said, "Yeah, why?" "Well, he's sitting on a nail." Okay, he says, "Well, why don't he get off the nail?" He says, "Well, it doesn't hurt him enough for him to get off the nail." All right? My point here is, how many people do you know who complain and moan and groan every day? Okay? On that. They always moan and groan on that. "I don't have enough money." Okay? "I don't have enough education. I don't have enough time." Whatever the reason is, there's always people who moan and grown every single day, no matter what. And what I've done myself is I kind of stepped away from those people and not even be associated with them at all. And we're going to tell you a little bit more stories too as we come on. We're going to talk about tax lien and tax deed investing business. So a couple of people, you guys are doing it right now, and I do this all around the country, and our full-time job is tax lien and tax deed investing. That's our logo, okay? The Tax Sale Master. If we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, and we're on TikTok, okay? So if you want to subscribe to any of our channels, I post videos every single day. I post 2 to 3 videos every single day about the tax sales. And I show you the properties. You go on YouTube, you can see one of the properties. We show you all the properties on the outside, the inside, what we're doing, and so on. And then every day we do like little 30-second clips, okay, of how an auction, how a state works. Like Arizona, we know is a bid down interest rate. Whoever pays the lowest interest rate will win. You know, it's a 3-year redemption period, right? And then after 3 years, you can start the foreclosure on the property, and so on and so on and so on. Okay? So we give you like little 30-second clips of states, and then we add on, you know, as time goes on. Okay? So follow us. We're on the Tax Sale Master and everything, and subscribe to us. Okay. This is education. Remember, this is my experience. We're not going to give you any legal advice, no accounting advice, or anything at all. And yours could be completely different. We're not an attorney. We're not an accountant or a government employee. So we're going to break it into sections. We're going to break it into sections into what a tax lien is, what a tax deed is, and what a tax redeemable deed is. I tell people, anybody do wholesaling? Ever done wholesaling? You haven't done wholesaling, right? We ever done fix and flips, right? Fix and flip, buy and hold, okay? Seller financing, okay? It's exactly what the tax sales are. Exactly what it is. The only difference is I don't buy anything higher than $10,000. That's it. I don't buy $1 million houses at all. I'm going to pay $10,000. I'm going to wholesale it for $80,000. And all I'm going to do is clean it up. That's it. I'm going to make just as much money as you will buying $1 million house, okay, fixing and flipping, when I don't have to do that. And I'm going to show you some ones that we fix and flip. Percentage-wise, the money I invest and the returns I get is just astronomical, okay? Because I learned from the hedge funds. Nothing bad, I did not learn from locals. I did not learn from locals. We are all local, okay? I learned from Wall Street. That's who I learned from, okay? Because they taught me one thing. You buy local, you make local money. You buy national, now you're going to be making $1 million to $5 million a year. That's what clicked me, okay? On that. They said, well, why don't you buy here? Buy here, okay? We can make way more money somewhere else. Doesn't make sense. And we're going to show you some stuff here in California too, okay? Okay, so Joe understands when property owners do not pay the property taxes, a tax lien can be sold at the auction. So the county can have money it needs for county expenses. Joe knows that if the property owner pays the county back the taxes due amount, they will also have to pay an interest, which he will receive along with his tax bid purchase amount. So here's a couple of states. Arizona, Missouri, state of Florida, state of Alabama, okay? Now, you do Arizona, right? You know you can foreclose in 6 months in Arizona, right?
6 months.
Yeah. You don't have to wait 3 years. You know that.
The situation's perfect.
Right. If you know which property, which lien to go after, and where to bid and everything, you can foreclose in 6 months. Okay? And not wait the 3 or 4 year period. Okay? Most people don't know that. But there's little things you can do. Right? You can go directly to the owner. In other words, as you know, when the 3 years is up, right? I can buy the property directly from the owner. And you'll never get the property, the tax lien holder. I will get the property. Because I'm doing that right now in Arizona, that the tax sale investor was foreclosing on the property. I knew the owner was already delinquent 3 or 4 years, I went directly to that owner, and I'm buying the property, and the tax lien holder just got his money back. That's it, you won't get the property. Okay, now I'm gonna pay a higher amount of money, okay? But I'm gonna get a loan on the property. I'll get a hard money loan or whatever I want. So I'll buy it before the auction, I'll buy it at the auction, or I'll buy it after the auction. Okay, that's the way I can do it. Most people don't know how to do it. Okay, Louisiana, Indiana, South Carolina, and Iowa, a couple of the other tax liens, okay? So, at his first auction, Joe nervously raises his paddle, and he wins his first tax lien. Now he waits. Will the owner repay, or will he end up with the property? Either way, he knows he's on the right track. So we know Arizona, since they do Arizona, Arizona is in person or online, right? So you can do it either way, either online or in person. Weeks later, Joe checks his account, his tax lien was redeemed, the property owner repaid the taxes, and Joe made a solid return on his investment. Excited by this passive income, he starts searching for his next opportunity. That means he bought the lien, and the owner paid the taxes back. Okay? And you get his money back plus an interest rate. That's really basically what happened there. Lien not redeemed. Here, one of Joe's liens did not get repaid. The redemption period expired. Redemption means the time limit that the owner has to pay the property taxes back. Now he can foreclose on the property, and he takes ownership of a property for a fraction of its value. And he must decide, does he want to sell it? Does he want to fix it? Does he want to rent it? What do he wants to do? It's his. People ask me all the time, well, what are you going to do? It's your property. What do you want to do with it? You can buy and hold it. You can fix and flip it. You can wholesale it. Okay? Do what you want to do. It's your property on that. The only difference is I don't have a loan on property. Every single property I'm selling, I do not have a loan on any of them. Zero. I don't have to pay a monthly mortgage at all. Because the mortgages were wiped out, and right? By the government. Government wiped them out. Mortgage. You buy them free and clear on the situation. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about what we talked about in the tax lien section here? Tax lien section. Anybody have any questions about the tax lien section here? How a lien is created and what it is, tax lien. No? Okay. All right. So, yes.
But how do you find out about the tax lien? Like, where do you get the source of the...
Yeah, so every county will post where they're going to have the auctions on their website, okay? Or you can get it directly from them directly, okay?
So you go on the county website for tax lien or auction?
You talk to the tax collector.
Tax collector,
Yeah,
okay.
you talk to the tax collector, and then you find out exactly where it's going to be held, okay? On that. Yes?
Do you ever use very many of the websites that will bring you to those tax auctions? Or do you go directly to the county for that information?
No, I mean, you can go to Tax Sale Resources if you want. Tax Sale Resources is a data company that will provide you where the auctions are held, okay? And then where, the parcel numbers and all that. It's just a data company. That's all it is, okay? Yes?
These properties are all cash, you have to buy all cash.
Well, I'm buying the lien on the property, all cash, that's correct. I'm buying the property cash, I'm buying the liens all cash. So what am I spending?
So you'd have to have separate financing.
I tried to help you by...
Oh, okay.
Something else.
Something, that's okay.
It's right there. There we go.
No, I don't know. Oh, it will work.
Yeah, it
Okay,
will.
good, good, thank you.
I wanted to-
Yep, so that would have worked on that side. Okay, yes?
I think I'm trying to understand where is the foreclosure before tax lien?
Okay, so first of all, you bought the lien, right?
Yeah.
They didn't pay the taxes.
Yeah.
They didn't pay the
property
taxes. Now the time comes up and they didn't pay. Now, every state's different. Arizona, you're gonna hire an attorney, you're gonna do it yourself, and they're gonna do the foreclosure for you. Indiana, the attorney,
So if the owner doesn't pay the tax lien, then you foreclose
Right.
on them?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's it. You foreclose on it, okay? So, I'm gonna show you this here. Anybody ever go on Realtor.com?
One question,
Yeah.
can that scenario be kind of, I want to say hostile or maybe, does that make sense? Can the owner's gonna be a little upset about that? How do you kind of ease that situation kind of?
Oh, you mean if the property's occupied?
Yeah.
Okay.
You foreclose on it.
So yeah, so basically what happens if you foreclose on, most of the properties will be empty when you foreclose on it, okay?
It's
Most of the time.
Realtor.com.
Yeah, this is Realtor.com, okay? We've all seen Realtor.com, correct?
And you go under auctions?
No. I'm just showing you a property line,
Okay.
okay? On that, I'm not gonna go into that whole detail about where the properties are and where the details, if you wanna come to our Monday night class, we'll give you some information, okay? So I'm more than happy to do that, okay? You got like a time limit.
Yes.
All right, so that's a property here, okay? 799 Brill Drive in Bullhead City. You see that one pending? Okay, got an offer, I got 3 offers on that in 24 hours. You know what Bullhead City is? Laughlin, near Laughlin, Nevada, okay? I bought that mobile home. It's a mobile home with the garage and the driveway, right? We own everything there, just like a house, except there's a mobile home there. We bought it for $5 grand. Okay, so can you pay cash for $5 grand? Yeah, I hope so. Okay, they can pay $5,000 for this. We own it. I'm not a lien holder. I own it now. I foreclosed on it properly. All I did is I cleaned it up. You go on YouTube, you'll see that video. You'll see the inside, you'll see the outside, you'll see me there, you'll see everything there on that property. You see the junk inside, you see all that stuff there. Okay, now that was occupied by the son, so we gave him cash for keys, $6 grand to move out. Then we cleaned it up, took the junk out, and paid the attorney fees. So I was in about 20 grand. Yeah.
And if you don't have the 5,000, find a partner.
Yeah, find a partner. There you go. Exactly. Find an investor. There you go, right here. He's the investor right there. So my point here is like, if you can, my attorney fees, I put in my credit card anyways. Didn't matter. Okay? But that's one of our properties. I can show you all 7 if you want. We'll show you some more after that we're doing. This here alone, I'll make about 60 grand on one deal. Not a fix and flip, nothing like that. It's not vacant land. I'll show you some vacant land that we have too. I'll show the vacant land we bought for $800. We're in escrow for 32 grand. Doing nothing to it. That means I make 150 grand in 2 months doing this here. Okay? That's what Wall Street does, right? Isn't that what the stock market is, right? Record high on that. If you ever saw yesterday, one of the major stock players, Michael Burry, you remember him, Michael Burry, who predicted the downturn, okay? He just delisted his company on the stock market. And the reason he delisted it because he knew there's so much corruption going on right now in the stock market, that the companies are doing so much fancy accounting to show that they're actually making these profits, and they're really not making the profits. On paper, they are, but they're actually not. So Michael Burry just got tired and just delisted his company, saying, I'm not going to be there. We're going to do it quietly, separately, okay? Because of corruption that's happening, you know. And the politicians are not going to say nothing because the stock market keeps going up. They only get involved when the stock market goes down, okay? So that's my thing here. We're talking about tax deed auctions now, okay? Tax deed auctions.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, do you make, when you decide in which state eventually to buy a tax lien, the differentiation between judicial states and non-judicial states for the timing eventually if you have to foreclose on the property?
Right, okay, so the non-judicial states, which are the tax deed auctions, that's what we're going to go into now, okay? The judicial ones is on the liens to the deeds, okay? All right, so what is a tax deed? A tax deed is, Joe discovers there's a path called tax deed. Instead of waiting for the repayment, you own the properties right now. The auction happens, and whoever pays the highest amount of money, you win the property now. You don't have to wait at all, okay? Joe understands that you must have more money available to buy the tax deed properties than the tax lien properties. but he knows he will own the property after he purchases it, instead of waiting several years. So here's a couple of the states, tax deed states. California's all online, okay? Nevada, state of Washington, Virginia, Oregon, Idaho, Michigan, New York, and the state of Kansas. Those are some of the tax deed states. All right? So remember, tax deed state, you're always going to pay more money because you don't own the property now. Tax lien state, you're going to wait. That's all it is. Everybody has their likings, right? Some people say, I want to do tax deed now because I want to make the money now. I understand I got to pay more money and so on, but you are going to pay a higher amount. Some other people want to do tax lien auctions. But I would say, well, I just want to do a tax lien auction. It would be either 6 months or 12 months. Or me, I like 3 years. Because I don't need money right now. But if you do, then you have to modify it. You got to modify what's working for your success. Okay, redeemable deed. We're going to talk about redeemable deed. I want to tell you a story very quickly, too. Another story. This is a very bad story, very horrible story. Very, very horrible story, and I hope it never happens to you. Back in 2008 and 2009, remember when the market went down really bad, okay? So I was, at that time, and created a TV show called America's Next Sports Star. Okay, you can go onto YouTube, you can probably see some old shows out there, and it was American Idol in sports, okay? And I got involved with some very bad producers, production companies, that they were more interested in their money rather than the success of the show. And I had to lose a lot of money to get rid of them. And I got it on television. I got it on Versus Network, cable TV. It wasn't the show that I really wanted, like I'd like to, but I did get it on show. I got it on TV. I had 5 episodes that we aired, and I didn't realize that studios control advertisers, okay? They really do. So studio will come out and say, hey, I've got these shows, okay? Or network will say, we have these shows. If you want American Idol, you got to buy these other shows too on that. So as an independent producer like myself, it was very hard to do that. Very, very hard. So the market went very bad, right? The market went down, and I had some rental property. And I lost everything. All my money. All my properties. I had $10,000 to my name. I was in debt $3 million. So when people tell me their problems, you don't have problems. Just imagine being $3 million and you go to work at your office and you walk out and say, you Ken Letourneau? Here, you've been served in a lawsuit. This happened to me all the time because I had lawsuits with banks that I personally guaranteed. That's why. So when you do hard money loans, you ask them, do I have a non-recourse loan that you can't sue me? And they will all say, no, we're going to do a recourse. That means a personal guarantee. That means if something happens, you're liable. I had personal guarantees on all of them. So I lost everything. Filed the bankruptcy. You can check my name, Ken Letourneau, the LA County Bankruptcy Court. And you'll see my bankruptcy. You'll see my pages like that, okay, of write-offs, of debts. I had $10,000. I didn't know what I was going to do. Went to my wife together. You know, we actually never got the ring, but we've been together for all those years. And I said, okay, I lost everything. She said, what are you going to do now? You know? I said, well, I want to go back to insurance. I don't want to go back to insurance. I did insurance. I don't want to go back. I'm in my 50s. She said, well, you got to do something to make some money. I said, okay. I said, I know real estate investing. I know it really good. So okay. So I went back, and I had no money. So who did I go to for the money?
Family?
Yeah, my wife. Okay. My girlfriend, however you want to call it. My wife. Okay. She's smart. You know, she worked for NATO Care in King Drew as a nurse. She has a pension, 401k, house. Everything's fine. And I'm in my 50s. you know, man, I worked so hard. How can I lose everything? All my life. And I did. So she said, okay, she did. She lent me the money, okay? She went on title, she paid cash, and I said, I'll pay you 25% return. 25%. Sell it in the house in Compton, never forget it. House in Compton, had to do house sitting there so people wouldn't break in. And this was when the market was horrible. Horrible, 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 horrible. I was in open houses, you know, and I found a buyer, we sold it, made some money, and she made money, okay? So I said, great, make some money. So I went back to her again. I said, you want to be an investor again? What did she say?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yes? What do you guys think? Yes? No? She said no. She said no. And so I went outside. I'll never forget this. I said, okay. I went outside, and we live around the block. So we went around the block, and I just yelled, top of my lungs. Nothing bad. You know what I mean? I just yelled, you know, to take the stress out of me. I had no investor, nobody at all, no nothing at all, and she wouldn't do it again. Let's just find somebody else. I said, well, who am I going to find? She said, I don't know, find somebody else. I don't want to do it. So I did. I found another investor. I gave her a proposition. I'll do all the work. Okay? I'll do all the work there. I'll get the contractors there, supervise them, find the property, do the open houses, do everything. You just come up with the money, and then you come on title, and we split it 50-50. And I'll list the property, and then we split the commission 50-50 too. So he said, yeah. I said, okay, great. So it worked out good. First year, we made $100,000. I made $100,000. He made $100,000. Worked out good. Still, the market's horrible, remember? Okay, the market's horrible. But we're making good money, flipping the houses and everything. And I'm working my ass off, getting up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, meet the contractors there, early in the morning at Home Depot, pay with, you know, the credit card with Steve that he gave me, meet them over at the job, make sure they're showing up, take a little break, go back again, do all that stuff. Okay? Then go and pick up more material and everything. And I went there, and so after 1 year, a little bit after one and a half years, I went to Steve, and I said, Steve, I got to do it my own. I got to do it my own because you're taking half of my money, you know, and I'll never get ahead. And, you know, Steve said, well, but we're doing it such a great team, you know, we're making good money, and, you know, I said, yeah, but Steve, but I'm busting my ass, you know? He said, yeah, but that's okay. You know, you're an honest guy. I said, yeah, I just got to do it my own. So I did. I started doing my own. This is LA County. Okay, I'm still flipping houses, and I started making more money. But I got tired of it. I got tired of buying these $600,000, $700,000 houses, going there, fixing it up, meeting the contractors there, and then making about 50 grand or more, okay, fixing it up and selling it, making sure it doesn't fall through escrow and so on. And yeah, each year I'd be making 200, 250, 300,000, 400, whatever I was making. And I said, okay, great. I said, well, how does these guys make the millions? Okay? So then I went to an auction in Indiana. I started doing some research. I went to LA auctions. That's how I got into the tax sales. Bought some properties here in California, made some money on the tax sales. And I said, okay, I'm going to go to the Midwest. I went to the Midwest. And I hooked up with these guys, hedge fund guys. And I noticed that they bought 97% of all the properties at the auction, the liens in Indiana. 97%. You bought them. Okay? Because it's not a bid down interest rate in Indiana. Okay? The only reason why you and me have a better chance, right, is a bid down interest rate. Over there, it's a bid up premium. So whoever pays the highest amount is going to win in Indiana. So they're always going to overbid you every single time of the properties that they want. You'll never win unless you know where to go. So I went there and I started buying. I started doing, we're going to show you some properties here too that we did. And make a long story short, I was bugged to talk to my wife And that's how I got into the tax sales. Okay, I started doing different states, did a lot of stuff in Indiana, then I started going to Arizona, and then Mississippi and Alabama. And then our group, our joint ventures, okay, she did Arizona, so she bought some liens in Arizona herself. She knows exactly how to do stuff in Arizona. Okay, and then Art's out there, he does Arizona too. Okay, we've got 20 investors who did Arizona. That's not the 800